Yeah. No, this is one of those kind of out of the blue opportunities that you don't even know how to like dream for something that magnificent. Yeah, Jon Favreau reached out, and yeah, he had heard that I was directing and all of that, and particularly had an interest in emerging technology, and so yeah, he reached out and sent this script, and we started talking about it and invited me and simultaneously, other filmmakers into this process with him and Dave Filoni. And it was incredibly collaborative, very freeing, very empowering, very healthy. It was incredible, and I think for all of us, so exciting. I think for all of us, it's just the privilege is so immense, and we are all so excited to be here. And Dave and John, they both have their hearts in absolutely the right place, and so it's just awesome. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's for me, like growing up, getting to like play with the figurines constantly and watching the movies and whatnot. Part of the joy is that it is truly an ensemble. There are so many characters, there are so many worlds, there are so many possible circumstances, and so because of that, it really makes sense for a story like this to exist. Like we only got a glimpse of Mandalorians, and in particular the original movies, and so to get to kind of immerse yourself in that world and whatnot, and what it opens up and what it unlocks, and the secrets that are revealed that are connected to absolutely everything. I mean, I think that's what's exciting about it, is that there's so many stories, infinite amount of stories.
Highly, well, let's just say beloved and highly anticipated, uh, with great people, really well written, tremendous dimension, a lot of fun. Uh, how could you not want to be a part of it? And of course the name Star Wars, it carries so much weight around the world, and now The Mandalorian will hopefully be an installment of it that people will love as well. I've been involved professionally, pretty soon it'll be 50 years, as an actor slash director. And I've worked with a lot of really people of great renown and people who are incredibly talented, and both in front of and behind the camera. But John and Dave, not only are they incredibly talented people, but their hearts are really big. And to call them collaborators in a way is kind of an understatement, because they are so giving and so inclusive and so creative that it creates a kind of expansion of whatever you bring to the table, and every day I actually learn something. And I go there with that kind of intention.
I loved it because John was so passionate about it. He's such a creative powerhouse, and teaming up with him just was a really natural fit. We both feel good about the story we're telling, and we both like these characters in this universe. And I think the whole crew felt that way, the actors feel that way, and when we're putting that together, our whole feeling was just like, if we make something we love, I think people will hopefully love it when they watch it too. They'll feel that. And I think that's what's happened. So, it feels like a win all around. I know, the timeline's expanding and expanding, isn't it? But in the timeline, we take place after Return of the Jedi. So the sixth Star Wars film, we come after the fall of the Empire, basically, and we're picking up the pieces of what happened in this galaxy. And we're trying to show that it wasn't just all automatically good, that people still had to scrape and fight to survive. And we chose the story of really just one guy trying to make his way in the galaxy, and based on like old westerns, that kind of story. And here we are, The Mandalorian. Yeah, well, for me, that's all I've done. I'm the TV guy, TV animation guy, and kind of mixing John and I together. He brings amazing sensibilities, artistic direction, just the live action feature, blockbuster, ideas. But he's also done, films, Chef. He's done, these films that he has tremendous heart in everything he does, which I really love. And I was trained by George Lucas, and George, is a filmmaker extraordinaire. He's a legend, and one thing is sure, Star Wars has enough stories in it that you can stretch it out. You can tell these bigger, longer stories. I mean, I remember as a kid realizing Empire Strikes Back was coming out, I was, oh my gosh, there's more. And it's something I've never been tired of as a kid, and starting in 2005, working for Lucasfilm to today, I'm never over it. I love this galaxy. I love seeing how it affects people, the smiles it brings, the inspiration, all the things George set out to do in the beginning is still true today, and it's just rewarding and a real privilege to be a part of it.
It's pretty amazing because we've been working on it pretty hard for a while, so it's sort of amazing just to have it all come together and have everybody here for it. I think that was actually one of the really interesting things about the project is it was different. It's a new period. It's new characters. So everything, like even though we feel like we know so much, everything was original and new, which was really exciting.
Well, you know what? The excitement comes from being so genuinely passionate about it, being passionate about the people in charge, the people that are passionate about storytelling and staying true to the Star Wars universe. And I just think that when I was talking to Dave Filoni, he said, you know what, no matter what, our hearts have been so in the right places, so that speaks for itself. And, we really do want people to love it. And I really do want people to love my character because, that's everything to me right now. But at the end of the day, it all came from such a good place. I love that. I love that this is new, all new characters, all new, so many places that we can take this. And I think that that's really cool because now we can start fresh and at the same time still tie in everything, but it's a fresh start for all of us. And I'm a baby Star Wars fan, so I didn't really start getting into this till I got the job, and I didn't realize this is a deep story. When you're looking through all the characters and you're looking through all the storylines and there's actions and all that, but when you really go deep into it, this is life. It emulates what's going on in the world in ways, and I just think that's really cool. I love that.
It's great because I'm used to having the premiere is usually before the movie comes out. Now people have seen the first episode and we have 2 more here, and we already know what people's reaction is. So this feels more like a party. And to be here with and we were all at work today, so here we are together. Everybody washed the dust off and came out and got all spruced up, and I can't wait to see it with a crowd because that's something you don't get to see. It's fun on social media to see the reaction, but to actually see it with a group of people, really awesome. Mandalorian takes place about 5 years after Return of the Jedi. The Empire has just fallen, and now the entire galaxy is coming apart at the seams because there's no central government, and as tyrannical as the Empire was, it did hold the galaxy together, and there was a sense of order. And so now we see after the rebellion what's happening, what's rising from the ashes of the aftermath of the rebellion. And even though the good guys won, there's still a lot of bad guys out there. And so this is about a Mandalorian who travels from system to system, trying to make his way through the galaxy and encountering the vestiges of what came before and the green shoots of what is yet to come. I think it's great to have a serialized show like this because I feel like it really taps into what George Lucas was originally inspired by. The films like Flash Gordon that he grew up with, the serialized shows that they would show one reel at a time to audiences on Saturdays. And I remember, I didn't really grow up with that because I grew up with television, but my dad would always tell me, my grandfather would tell me about what it was like when they were young to go to the theater every Saturday and watch all the chapters of all the stories that they had. And there's a sense of adventure and fun and excitement and room for cliffhangers and twists and reveals and excitement. And I think that's really the spirit of the Star Wars that I grew up with. And it's nice that you could have the big movies and you could also have smaller worlds like this that have a lot less responsibility for forwarding this grand narrative that's taken place over so many decades. This one we can have fun and make it exciting and have a nice conversation back and forth with the fans, and knowing that next week there'll be another one, and so it becomes a lot more spontaneous of a process.
Well, I pulled up and I got to see, before anything, all of the fans, and it just makes me understand the beauty of creating something like this for people like them, you know, and the way that something that George Lucas started in the 70s has built such a world of people that love stories, and so with all of the new mediums of streaming and what is being invented on these different kind of streaming networks, to create something that, I mean, obviously the intention is to expand itself as far as it possibly can, but truly I think its heart is with the people that love Star Wars and love these stories. And so to manifest that so completely for people that love it is really beautiful, you know? It's a very inspiring experience to be a part of. I'm a huge consumer, you know, and I have been since I was a kid. I was taken to the movies for most of my childhood. We got cable television like way too early. And now that so many great stories are being developed on streaming networks, I'm a big audience member. And with this, to see something that has such a specific definition in terms of a feature presence or an animated series presence, and to invent new ways of expanding that story in the literal outer reaches of the galaxy, you know, and to kind of play, you know, push those boundaries and keep people on their toes within a world that is already so familiar to us is so fascinating. I just think it's beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, Star Wars, it was the first film I saw in the theaters, and so to be a part of Star Wars at this point with a project like this is so exciting and really important, and Jon and Dave were just incredible people to collaborate with, and just really brought a spirit of, you know, of inclusion and collaboration, and everybody just was able to show their voice and bring their personalities to the episodes they were doing, and that was all a testament to how they ran the set and how they ran the show. I did too. I did chapter 2 and chapter 6. Those are mine, and so one of them's showing tonight, so I'm super excited to see it on the big screen at the El Capitan of all things. So it's great. So they got me on board for 2, and I was like, I'll do them all if I could. It's exciting to see it, and I know what that's like as a Star Wars fan, to just be excited about every little morsel that comes out, and so to see it grow, and then to kind of have it debut yesterday and to start to get some of the response was really exciting. And I'm really excited because I know what's to come, and I know all that's in store, and you know, it's great to be on the inside of this thing as a huge Star Wars fan. I am so excited about Disney Plus. I'm excited about just the world of streaming and how that gives you an opportunity to tell so many different kinds of stories in different ways, and The Mandalorian is an example of the kind of story that you can tell specifically on streaming that's really suited to the way that, you know, that medium works. And so as much as I love watching films on screens and in front of audiences, I'm equally as excited that, you know, people get to see your work in their own home, and that's just as important for an artist as seeing it on the screen.
I'm really stunned about how big all this is, and I think it is big because a new mythology is emerging, We haven't had it very often in Greek antiquity, of course, heroes and gods and understanding the universe. And here Star Wars seems to be the invention of an entire universe. It's not just science fiction. Science fiction is more technical. This is something much bigger. And you have incredible possibilities of storytelling, fantasies, invented characters. It's a wonderful, wonderful soil to grow cinema.